Hey, all you basketball players out there, how much film do you watch? If you want to be a truly confident basketball player, then you need to study the game. So today, I'm going to give you 3 things that you can focus on when you're studying game film. Let's jump in and discuss. Welcome back to Hard Smart Together. I'm Coach Dave. I'm here every week to help basketball players become the smart, confident players that coaches love. So as you continue on your journey to be a confident basketball player, and in order to really build that stable, steady, unshakable confidence that we're always talking about, you need to learn more about how you play the game. And you need to learn what you're doing well as what you're not doing well. And so one of the best tools that you can use as a basketball player, it doesn't matter what level you're at, is studying game film in order to see what you're doing really well and to see maybe what you're not doing so well so that you can work on correcting those things. There is a reason that if you hear in interviews professional athletes constantly, basketball as well as other sports, constantly, whether it's the athletes or the coaches, constantly referring back to film study. So if you're not studying film, it's time to start if you're serious about building that confidence in the way you play. And maybe you haven't been studying film, or maybe you don't study as much film because you really don't know what to look for. So today I could talk about studying film all day because there is a bunch that we could look for on game film. In fact, when I was a coach at St. Mary's College, we used to break down the film based on an efficiency report that we produced for every player. And, it had tons of categories in it. And we had film broken down for each one of those categories. So there's tons of things that we could look for. But today I'm going to simplify it. If you want to study film, start studying film, or continue studying film, I'm going to give you 3 things to focus on that are really important, that you can pick up what you're doing well and what you're not doing well, and can help you build your confidence. Okay? So the one thing that you can study game film on is on the defensive end, specific to you. Hey, I'll get back to the episode in just a second. I hope you're enjoying today's episode, and if you are, please share it. Share it with a player, share it with a parent, share it with a coach, anybody that you feel might need to hear it. I also wanted to give you a free gift that I've made available to you just for hanging out with me today. It's a checklist of skills for basketball players that want to become a better player, a better teammate, and to stand out to their coaches. Now, these skills are skills that are often overlooked, but they can be the foundation that a player can use to really achieve their goals. You can download it at hardsmarttogether.com/intangibles. I'll put a link below in the description as well, but it's hardsmarttogether.com/intangibles. Now let's jump back to today's episode. What is your stance, your positioning, and your footwork? 3 really simple things, but how often do you really focus in on that during your film study when you're watching yourself on film during a game or during practice? What do I mean by stance? So many times players come up out of their stance. They're not ready on defense. So you can kind of look at, am I always ready on the defensive end? Am I in an athletic position with my knees bent in a stance, ready to defend? That's a really simple thing to kind of look at for yourself and study on film and see how often are you coming up out of the stance, right? How often are you not ready to defend? okay? When I talk about positioning, I'm talking about, it doesn't matter what the defense that your team is running, you have some responsibilities, whether you're on ball or off ball, one pass away or weak side, okay? How is your positioning in relation to the ball with whatever defense philosophy that your coach is running, right? Are you commonly out of position? Are you not in help? Are you, whatever the case might be, there's a million different things that we could have as far as positioning that's very specific to the defense that your team is playing. But this is something that you can study and see, am I in position all the time or am I out of position a lot of the time? And is that maybe why the coach is pulling me? I talk about footwork, defensive footwork. Your positioning goes along with footwork, okay? When you are one pass away, do you have a slightly closed stance to the ball, which makes it easy for you to recover to your man, okay? Are you opening up all the time? Are you opening up with help and drives, which makes it really difficult if the ball's kicked to recover out to your man? So footwork goes in there too. So this is a really simple thing that you can look at. I don't know if you've been studying this on defense, but are you ready to play? Are you in the stance all the time? Are you in position all the time? And how does your footwork? Is your footwork, appropriate for the defense that your team is playing? Okay, that's number one. So your specific defensive stance, positioning, and footwork. The second thing that you can study on film, and this is a big one, shot selection. Okay, this is a huge topic, and I'm actually planning on covering this topic in a training that I'm currently developing. Okay, so we can get more advanced into that. But on a really simplified basis, are you taking the right shot at the right time? So is the shots you're taking shots that are appropriate for you as a player in the development you're at, as well as the right timing for the game? Maybe this is another reason that you're finding yourself either, pulled out of the game or on the bench. When you have that opportunity, are you taking the right shots at the right time? Another really simple thing to study on film. And then the third thing that I want you to study on film is, what does your body language look like? What's your game speed look like? And what's your sportsmanship look like? Body language, we've talked about in the past having a great mistake response, right? When things are going bad, does your body language reflect, oh, here we go again, your slumped shoulders, your head down, game speed? Are you constantly at a high game speed? Is your motor always running? Or do you find yourself, kind of lollygagging every now and again and jogging up the court, right? And then your sportsmanship. How's your interaction with the opposite team, with your own teammates, with referees, with the other coaches, with fans? Okay? These are all things that are noticed by coaches, by fans, okay? But especially by coaches. And if you're in high school and you're trying to get recruited, this is a huge one to watch on game film, right? These are intangibles that you might not be thinking about. What's my body language like? What do I look like in the huddle? Am I paying attention to my coach? College coaches in the stands that are watching you, these are the things they're looking for. These are the clues that coaches watch when they're deciding on game time or on the time you're going to spend in the game. Okay? This is the kind of clues they look for when they decide who gets the playing time. So 3 really simple things that you can watch on film. If you're currently watching a lot of game film, are you watching for these 3 things? Are these 3 new things that you can start looking at? Okay, so just quick reminder. Defensive stance, positioning, and footwork. Then shot selection. Are you taking the right shots at the right time that's appropriate at that time of the game? And What do you look like to your coaches in the game? Your body language, your game speed, is it consistent? Is it a high motor? And your sportsmanship, how are you interacting with others on the court? So these are 3 things that you can use to, again, learn what you're doing well and maybe what you're not doing so well, and then you can work on those things. So I hope this was a helpful tip for you today. Always like the likes. Love any comments that you have. If you're watching film, do you typically look for these things, or are these new? Leave me a comment below and let me know. And until next week, remember to play hard, play smart, and play together. See you next week.